Good morning, students. Today let us start a new chapter. Okay, chapter 1.3, unit 1, the gaseous state. All right. Now, what is gaseous state? You know that gas consists of molecules separated by wide distances. So, there will be large separation in the case of gaseous molecules. You can see here in the diagram. Okay, you can see the molecules are far away in the conical flask. What about liquid? Little closer. Okay, and what about solid? They are still closer. Okay, so this is the diagram showing solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Okay, so gas consists of molecules separated by wide distance, right? They are free to move about in space in which it is contained. So, gas molecules are freely moving in all entire space. Okay, whatever space available, they are free to move. Okay, continuous rapid motion with high velocities in all possible directions. How does they move? They continuously moving. Okay, rapidly with what? High velocities. Right, high velocities. Molecules will have the same velocity. Okay, all the molecules will be having same velocity. Okay, next slide. Now, Maxwell's distribution of molecular velocity. Now, Maxwell calculated or formulated a formula to express one molecular velocities. Okay, so molecules having velocities between c and c plus dc is given by. So, suppose if the velocities are in between c and c plus dc, then dnc by n is equal to 4 pi into m by 2 pi RT to the power 3 by 2 epsilon or exponential, okay, exponential to the power minus mc squared divided by 2 RT, c squared into dc. Okay, where dnc is the number of molecules having velocities between c and c plus dc. What is dnc? It is the number of molecules having velocities between c and c plus dc. Okay. What is n? Capital M? It is the total number of molecules. What is m? It is the molecular mass. Okay. So, derivation of this Maxwell's formula is not in the syllabus, only need to study only this formula. Okay. Only this formula is required. All right. Next slide. Now, what is the graph? Okay, Maxwell distribution of molecular velocities. Okay, so how to explain this graph? Fraction of the molecules versus what? Molecular velocity. Now, from this graph, it is clear that a very small fraction of the molecules has either very low velocity or very high velocity. Okay, very small molecules will be having either very high velocity or very slow velocity. Okay. So, this is the molecular velocity along the x axis, this is the fraction of molecules. You can see here. So, very small fraction of the molecules having either very low or very high velocities. Okay. At a given temperature, there is certain velocity for which the fraction of the molecules is maximum. Okay. So, at one particular temperature or at a given temperature, there is certain velocity. Okay, you can see here a certain velocity for which one fraction of the molecules having maximum. Okay, maximum. At high temperature, more molecules have higher velocities and fewer molecules have lower velocities. What happens at high temperature? More molecules will be having high velocities and less molecules will be having low velocities. Okay. So, this is the graph. Okay, you can see here most probable velocity, average velocity and RMS. There are three types of velocities. Okay, most probable velocity, average and RMS, and T2 is greater than T1. We assume that T2 temperature is greater than T1. Okay. This is number of molecules N1, okay, at this range. This is N2, this is the temperature T2, this is at T1. Okay. So, T2 will be here, T1 and T2 mentioned, A1 and A2, okay, are most probable velocities. Okay. Next line. Now, what is the effect of temperature on distribution of molecular velocities? The most probable velocity increases with increase in temperature. You know that probable velocity increases with increase in temperature. Okay. The entire distribution curve shifts to the right with rise in temperature. As the temperature rises, the distribution curve shifts to the right. This we have seen in the previous curve. Okay, previous slide. Then Maxwell's equation is exponential to the power minus, okay, exponential minus mc square divided by 2 kt. The factor thus increases considerably with the rise in temperature, because this is the factor depends on temperature, correct. So as the temperature rises, this factor rises, therefore you have what, shift towards right. This factor is called Boltzmann constant. What is this factor called? It is called Boltzmann constant. Okay. Next slide. Molecular velocities. So there are three types of molecular velocity, I told you already. Okay. So one of this is most probable velocity represented by alpha. Okay. Now what is the most probable velocity? The most probable velocity alpha is defined as the velocity possessed by maximum number of molecules of a gas at a given temperature. So most probable velocity is the probable velocity, okay, which is possessed by maximum number of molecules, okay, at a given temperature. Then what is average velocity? Average velocity represented by v. Okay. The average velocity is given by the arithmetic mean of different velocity possessed by the molecules. Okay. Average velocity of the different molecule, arithmetic mean of average velocity. Okay. So average velocity is arithmetic mean. What do you mean by arithmetic mean? Sum of all the velocities of the molecule. C1, suppose C1 is the molecule 1, C2 molecule 2. You take sum, okay, and then take what, mean, okay, divided by n, because there are n number of molecules. Okay. So that is called what, average velocity. Okay. Next slide. Root mean square velocity. Okay. Third one is root mean square velocity represented by the symbol u. Now what is root mean square velocity? Root mean square velocity defined as the square root of, this is square root of the mean of, square root of the mean of the squares of different velocities possessed by the molecules of a gas at a given temperature. Okay. You can see here mathematical representation, u is equal to square root of, okay, square sum of the squares. Okay. You can see here square, c1 square, c2 square, sum, add it, okay, and then mean. You should take the mean of this, therefore divided by n. Okay. So this is known as root mean square velocity. Alright. Next slide. So James Clerk Maxwell's molecular velocity of gases, most probable velocity alpha is given by square root of 2RT by m. This is the formula. This also derivation is not here. Okay. So this formula is required. Alpha is equal to 2RT by m. Average velocity v is equal to square root of 8RT by pi m. RMS is equal to u is equal to square root of 3RT by m. Okay. Next slide. Relation between average velocity, root mean square velocity and most probable velocity. Okay. These are the velocities. Most probable velocity, you know, alpha representation is equal to square root of 2RT by m. Let it be equation number 1. Average velocity v is equal to square root of 8RT by m. Let it be 2 equation. RMS velocity u is equal to square root of 3RT by m. Let it be 3. Okay. Then v by u, that means equation 2 divided by equation 3. Okay. Divide equation 2 by 3, you get v by u is equal to square root of 8 by 3 pi. Okay. When you divide one by the other, that means second by 2 by 3, you will get like this, square root of 8 by 3 pi. Okay. So v is equal to, or v is equal to cross multiply. Okay. You take this, simplify this square root. Okay. You will get 0.9213 into u. Okay. Into u. So average velocity is equal to 0.9213 into RMS velocity. What is u? That is RMS velocity. Okay. So this is the relation between RMS velocity and the average velocity. Okay. Then what is the relation between the ratio of these three? Okay. So most probable velocity alpha is to average velocity v is to u. What is u? RMS velocity is equal to square root of 2RT by m is to square root of 8RT by pi m. Okay. Is to the square root of 3RT by m. Alright. So on simplification you get square root of 2 is to square root of 8 by pi. Okay. Because RT by m is common, you can see here RT by m is common in all the three, therefore you get, they get cancelled. You can see that 8 by pi square root is to square root of 3. Okay. So since simplifying further, you will get it as 1 is to 1.128 is to 1.224. Okay. Alpha by u is equal to, when you divide alpha by u, that means equation number 1 divided by equation number 3, you will get the square root of 2 by 3. Correct. alpha by u is equal to square root of 2 by 3. Okay. So, further simplification, alpha is equal to, take the value of this square root of 2 by 3, you will get it as 0.8165, okay, into RMS. What is u? RMS. So, this is the relation between most probable velocity alpha and the RMS velocity. Okay. So, most probable velocity is equal to 0.8165 into RMS velocity. Okay. Next line. Now, these are the problems. These problems I am going to work out, okay, in the when offline classes starts. All right. Next line. Now, collision diameter. Now, collision diameter is represented by symbolically as d, okay, small d. Now, what is collision diameter? Here there is a diagram showing collision diameter. Okay, these are the two molecules, molecule 1, molecule 2. This is the center of molecule 1, this is the center of molecule 2. Okay, the distance between the two is nothing but called collision diameter. Okay, now how to put in one definition form? Distance between the centers of two molecules at the point of their closest approach is known as collision diameter. Okay. So, distance, this is the distance between the centers of two molecules. You can see the center of two molecules, okay, at the point of their closest approach. This is the closest approach because they should touch each other. Closest approach means the two molecules should touch each other, okay, not overlapping, touching each other. Okay. So, it is the distance between the centers of two molecules, okay, at the point of their closest approach is known as what? Collision diameter. What is the symbolic way of representing d? Small d. Okay. Next line. Collision number and mean free path. Okay. Collision number is represented by z. Mean free path is represented by lambda. Okay. Now, what is collision number? It is the number of collisions suffered by a single molecule per unit time per unit volume of the gas. Okay. This is the definition. What is collision number z? It is the number of collisions suffered by a single molecule per unit time per unit volume. Okay. How it is represented? Z is equal to square root of 2 pi into d squared v into rho. Okay. This is the formula. Then what is mean free path? What is the definition? The average distance travelled by gas molecules between two successive collisions is called mean free path. So, this is the average distance travelled by gas molecules between what? Two successive collisions. Okay, that is called what? Mean free path. How do you represent mathematically? Lambda is equal to kt divided by square root of 2 pi d squared into p. Okay, so this is the formula to represent what? Mean free path. Okay, next line. Critical phenomena. Next we shall see what is critical phenomena. Okay. At critical temperature and critical pressure, the gas becomes identical with its liquid and is said to be in critical state. What is critical state? At critical temperature and critical pressure, the gas becomes identical with the liquid. That is called what? Critical state. Okay. Now, what is critical phenomenon then? Smooth merging of the gas with the liquid is referred to as critical phenomenon. So, smooth merging of gas with the liquid is called what? Critical phenomenon. Alright. Now, sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide you can liquefy at minus 8 degrees Celsius. This is the example. We can liquefy at minus 8 degrees Celsius at 1 atmosphere pressure. Okay. It can be liquefied at 20 degrees Celsius if the pressure is increased to 3.24 atmospheres. If you increase the temperature, you can have at increased temperature, increase the temperature, increase the pressure. Okay. So, one pressure, if you increase the temperature, high pressure is required, that means 3.24 atmosphere, that is the meaning. Okay. Now, critical phenomenon, critical temperature. So, critical temperature represented by Tc. What is critical temperature? The temperature above which it cannot be liquefied, however high the pressure may be. Okay, that is called what? Critical temperature. It is a temperature above you cannot liquefy it, whatever may be the pressure. That is called what? Critical temperature. Okay. Then what is critical pressure? At the critical temperature, a certain pressure is needed to liquefy the gas. That pressure is called critical pressure. So, at critical temperature, certain pressure is required to liquefy the gas molecules. Okay, that pressure is called critical pressure. Alright. Next, critical volume. Critical volume is represented symbolically as Vc. What is critical volume? The volume occupied by 1 mole of a gas at critical temperature and critical pressure. Okay, whatever volume occupied by 1 mole of gas. At what temperature? Critical temperature. At what pressure? Critical pressure. That is called what? Critical volume. Okay. For carbon dioxide, there is an example here. For carbon dioxide, okay, critical temperature is 31.1 degree Celsius. Okay. Critical pressure is 72.9 atmospheres and critical volume is, okay, 940 cm cube per mole. Okay. This is one for carbon dioxide. Alright. So, I will stop at this stage. Okay. So, please go through all the slides, and difficulty please contact me. Alright. Thank you.